Did you know that the first golf game to appear on consoles was in 1979, and that game was called Golf? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 149. My name's Gareth Bronny. I'm going to be your host. And I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. Maybe I'm going to do the whole podcast like that. James Burks upwards. How you doing, James?
I'd rather you didn't. That was worse than your first attempt. It's good to be back.
It's great to be back. On my virtual right is Mr. Darren Edwards. How you doing, Darren?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. It's great to be back. How are you, Gareth?
Do you like my new presenting skills?
I do. I don't know if you're going to be able to keep it going for the hour, but I'm gonna back you and say you'll be more than capable.
Oh, I like that. And on my virtual opposite is Mr. Neil Watton. How you doing, Neil?
Yeah, I'm good. Should we just skip the podcast and come back next year?
Yeah. Let's do it. Right. See you later. Have a good year. Enjoy Starfield when it comes out.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's all good to have you on. Your first ones, all three of you, for the year. We did one last week. Now let's see what.
Can I just say, I was just looking at my Skype calls, and the last time I was in a call was in May. Is that the last time I was on a podcast?
I think it might have been, you know.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's mad. Really mad.
Wow.
Let's talk about a week. So what we've been doing. James, what were you doing this week? What's the thing that's interested you?
This week? Wow. I mean, there's one thing that I think we're all going to talk about at some point. But other than that, I've watched a lot of Korean dramas for a change. About baseball, which is very weird because I hate baseball. But there's one about this guy that goes to prison. He's a baseball player. And it's just a really strange, let's say, comedy, drama, thriller, all wrapped up in one. It's called Prison Playbook. And it's really brutal at times. And the next minute, they're all having a laugh eating noodles. It's just crazy. But other than that, I've also been watching, I recently watched Doctor Strange, the second one.
Oh, yeah.
The Multiverse.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed. Is it me or is the Marvel, is it Phase 4 now?
Yeah.
Is Phase 4 really disappointing?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just me? Anyone else?
Darren's a big Marvel person.
I really liked the second Doctor Strange, but I do think that Phase 4, they're a victim of their own success because everything was linked from 1, 2, and 3, and it just feels like there's loads of origin stories, loads of loose threads, and people are starting to think, I don't know what on earth's going on, where I'm up to. So I do agree. I think that Phase 4 has lost its way, and I think they're going to try and tie it back together with Ant-Man, which comes out next month, because Kang's in it and he's supposed to be one of the big bads. But yeah, I think that's a fair shout, James, to be honest.
Yeah.
Good.
I think I'm with you. There's too many new characters. I don't know who anyone is. It's someone. Oh, it's madness. Darren, what about you? What have you been doing this week?
So I've been watching what we've all been watching, but I think I'll leave that for you, Gareth. Okay. I also managed to lock myself out of my house last week, which was fun, only in my life. So got in from swimming about 9:30 in the evening, bucketing down with rain, put the key in the front door lock, turned it, and it snapped in half. Clean break in two. And I stood there in the rain for about a minute just thinking, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this one? Ryan was away on business with work, so he was not there with the other key, which meant that I had to kind of think on my feet. So I went over the road and knocked on lovely neighbours' doors with two parts of the key, because I managed to prise the other end out the lock. Asked for super glue and goodness knows what else didn't work. Had a neighbour come in who was a builder. He was like, I can come round tomorrow morning and drill the lock out the door.
Wow.
etc., etc. So then I thought, what am I going to do? So I realised that I had my backdoor keys on my keys. Don't know why I had them. So I had to go around to my neighbours, climb in their wheelie bin, straddle the fence in the rain, hang over the fence, drop down from hanging over the fence and get into the back door. Managed to get through the back door with my key, scared the cat. He ran off upstairs because he's not used to me coming in via the back door, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then I managed to give 2 halves of the key to my neighbour's brother-in-law who knows a locksmith, and he managed to cut me 2 new keys from the remnants. So I survived.
What time?
It was a right faff. And then I sprayed loads of WD-40 in the lock, and it's much easier now, thankfully, but I couldn't believe it.
I'm going to let you into a secret. Happened to us and our next door
Did
neighbour
it?
last week. Maybe it's a start.
Last week?
Yeah, maybe it's the herald of a new apocalypse coming.
Maybe. Well,
Shit,
WD-40.
I'm not leaving the house.
Yeah, don't leave the house. Yeah, WD-40
You
does
need
the trick.
Yeah, pack a can of WD-40
Yeah.
because it's like having a new lock. It's so much smoother. It must have like seized up or whatever with the weather. So so that was fun. Other than that, I'm doing dry January, so I've got over the initial wine shakes, and only 13 days to go. So.
Nice, good. Neil, what about you? What's your week of pleasure been like?
Well, I've not been watching the thing that we're all going to talk about in a minute. Apart from, I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not going to be watching it.
No.
But I may watch it. That's all that you need to know for now.
Yeah.
But I have been watching other TV, which kind of is quite strange for me. I've gone through 46 years of my life hardly watching anything other than football, F1, and darts. For the last 3 weeks or so, I've been watching Jack Ryan. Halfway through second series of that now. I like that. That's good.
Good.
I've been watching Treason. Is it Treason?
I don't know what that is.
Treason? Yeah, Treason.
Yes,
oh yeah,
I think it is.
Treason. Yeah, it's about MI6 and how the head of MI6 gets poisoned, and then kind of loads of secrets and stuff come out. That's really good. I enjoyed that. Maybe 8 episodes long, 45 minutes each, which is kind of perfect. And I've been watching something called Safe, which is on Netflix.
I think I've watched that.
Yeah.
Has it got Dexter in it? The fellow who plays Dexter?
Now, I knew you were going to ask me something. Because I don't know any actors.
Do they live in a gated community?
They live in a gated community.
I've seen that. It's a Harlan Coben adaptation.
That's correct.
Very good. Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it, but I can't work out whether some of it's meant to be funny and it's not funny, or if it's just not meant to be funny and I'm wanting it to be funny.
Are you inventing your own storylines again? Because I don't remember.
Maybe, yeah. and there's 2 actors in it that I kind of recognise. One, I think she was in The Bill in like 1985.
Oh, that's my demographic.
And the other one looks like Gareth from 15 years ago. So I can't get that out of my head. So that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years.
Wow, I like it.
But I can't work Safe out. I can't work out if I like it or not.
Oh, I enjoyed it, but you got to see it through.
Is it a film? I think it's a film, isn't it?
No, it's a series.
Okay.
Again, it's about eight episodes
right.
or so. I think I'm about 5 or 6 now. But it's kind of like a murder and mystery kind of whodunit type thing. But there just seems to be some kind of comedy that's kind of being put in, and it doesn't feel right. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
good, Neil. I'm impressed. 3 series here.
Yeah, I'm getting good at this TV now.
That's great. Yeah.
You are.
Oh, that's really good.
Don't ask me anything about actors.
No, I don't. Now I'm going to talk about the thing we all wanted to talk about, apart from Neil. So I watched The Last of Us first episode on HBO. I think Darren and James has watched it as well on Sunday night. Mm-hmm. It was an 80-minute. It's like a movie, wasn't it? A big long episode. I really enjoyed it. It's interesting. I watched it with Bernadette, and Bernadette's not Bernadette. I made Bernadette play the first hour of The Last of Us. She never plays games, and we watched the film. I said, "Do you remember any of this?" No, nothing. So it does follow the kind of same. It follows the same beats of especially the prologue, but it goes off in its kind of world, and it has sort of differences, and I'm not going to spoil anything, so I won't talk about the story in generally because some people haven't seen it at all. But it has the same beats, but then it does go off on its own little kind of like. Of course, you're not going to just be shooting people for loads because that's what a game does. So it's a lot more talky in a sense, really. But I think the set pieces and the kind of world building is really interesting. I think gamers probably are a bit more critical of it because it's the same story. You know the story. You know that this whole season's going to follow the same story as the first game. For me, that story was an amazing story in sort of gaming. What the world of, it changed quite a lot of things, how narratives told, and the sort of like that cinematic experience in the game. So, if you know what's coming and they don't delve off completely off that, I think that might be a little bit tricky for some people. But it's not made for, in a sense, it's not made for gamers. It's made for a new audience. I think it's made for a TV audience, and I think that's gone down very well. What do you two think? Well, I lost you then.
No, I'm here. From what I've seen, it's split people, as you say, gamers and non-gamers. People who aren't familiar think it's very well made, very well put together. I really enjoyed it. I'm not overly familiar with the game. I know Ryan is, and he was a bit more critical along the lines of, I don't want to watch a retelling of the game I know and love. But at the same time, I feel like people want to have the cake and eat it, because then you get something like Resident Evil, which was an absolute disaster, or you get all these adaptations that I think in myself, I wish they'd just follow the game. So unless they are gonna throw a few surprises in or deviate or change details, it doesn't sound like they will do this season any sort of major way, but there is the potential, I guess. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I really
definitely,
enjoyed
I thought it was well. What about you, James? Because you've not played the game, have you?
I've never played the game, but I still find it a little bit predictable. Our episode.
Right.
I enjoyed it now.
Yeah.
I think having an extended episode helped settle the characters in, especially the main two. I think they're building a nice world. Well, not nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A world that beyond season 1, with different characters coming in.
Yeah.
I think it could be an interesting world to expand upon.
Well, I totally agree. I think what they did, I thought the prologue was, I could say the prologue, up to the point, was brilliant, because what it did do was have these elements of the game, but in the game you would play that prologue for maybe 15 minutes to get you to that point. And the TV thing had almost 40 minutes of it, and they did it brilliantly. You sort of got to know these characters. There were new characters in the neighbourhood, and you got to know about this thing coming. And also they've got an extra thing at the beginning that sort of is a coda to it, which I thought was great as well. So it's, I thought that was, I'm agreeing with you, Jen. I thought that's a good way of kind of expanding that stuff. But I think it's going to follow the same beats of the thing. So for people expecting something completely where it's going to end up, because it's a good story. That's why it's going to get there. That's why it's going to, what that's going to be. Neil, I'm going to bring you in. Any thought you're going to watch it?
I am going to watch it. I'm slightly put off when you said it was 80 minutes long. I'm going to have to watch it in at least 3 parts.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
They're not all 80 minutes long.
No, I don't think
that's
they're
just the opener. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'll probably, am I right in saying it's coming out weekly at the moment? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer to have them all there and then watch them over the course of a couple of weeks. You know what I'm like. I forget things.
Yeah, I think it's a good plan.
I can't watch something one week and know what's happened a week later. So I need to wait.
Yeah.
But I've not played the game. I've not turned my PlayStation on for 6 months, so I've certainly not played the game. But should I play the game first or not? What do you think?
No, watch the TV series. But the game's great. The game's great. Get the new game. Get the new, the one that came out in September. The game is great. You'll love the game.
But would I like the game if I've then watched the program first?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know which one would be a good order to do it in.
I think it would work better watching the TV show first.
And then playing the game.
Because the game has more elements to it that you'll probably be able to enjoy. Like dying 50 times.
I'm not going to enjoy that, James.
There's a lot of shooting.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
Yeah, but no, I'm definitely interested. I definitely will watch it. But like I say, until I've finished 3 seasons of Jack Ryan, I can't watch anything else now.
No, absolutely.
Get confused.
I'm just glad it's critically been well received for a video game adaptation. It's quite refreshing, isn't it? Normally they're a disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into games. What have we been playing? James, let's talk with you first of all. What's your first game?
Let's start with an incredibly morbid and depressing game called Accident.
Okay.
Basically, you work for like a magazine and you have to investigate road traffic accidents using an in-game VR headset. So you turn up on these scenes and you see the carnage. You have to help the dying people, give them first aid, put traffic cones out, phone for help, and occasionally stop a car from rolling off the edge of a cliff. It's just really, really depressing because all these people, or most of them, as you find out at the end of each case, you'll either die or have a terrible life. It tells you about their orphan children.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God.
Gareth, we need the energy.
And at that point, you're thinking, I don't really fancy another one. Another case. And then you save one person. 6 have died. Yeah.
How many different cases are there?
10,
Quite a few.
I think. It was 10 or 12.
Christ.
God.
Yeah, it's really depressing.
But is it a good game?
Any questions? No. I mean, there's fires that you have to put out. So you have to go through people's cars to find the fire extinguishers to then put fires out. And the mechanics on the fire mean that it's hot work in the fire, extinguishers or not.
All right.
And it's just really bad.
Is it the same people who did the police simulation games?
I was just going to ask.
It sounds.
It's a good question.
I don't think it is.
All right.
It's Duality Games.
Yeah, no, it's
I think
not.
they did Barn Finders.
That one.
Yeah, I did Barn Finders. I like Barn Finders.
But yeah, it's
that sounds horrendous.
It's not a great game.
No.
I would recommend it.
I have to say though, I've just reviewed that what's it called? Police Simulator, Police Officers or something. I can't even remember what it's called. I reviewed that a couple of months back, and in there is a bit where you come across some accidents and you have to kind of break it down and see what's happened, etc., and interview the witnesses and whatnot. And just makes me remember now, it was quite bugged, very bugged in actual fact. And there was one of them, and I was sitting there, and there's a 3-car pile-up, and I was talking to a woman that got out of the car and interviewing her, and as I was talking to her, another car landed on her head. it just came out of nowhere. Well, okay. She just stood there talking to me, car on her head.
Wow.
I mean, that would improve this game. I would have enjoyed that more. Yeah.
Okay, good, James. Excellent. We won't be playing that. Darren, what's your first one? I think we're only going to do two each today.
Yeah, fine. I'm just imagining the insurance claim on that. A car fell on the head. Oh dear. So I've been playing quite a lot of simulator games recently, and I've got a bit of a reputation for being the kind of ship expert at the Xbox Hub this year. So the most recent one I played was Ship Graveyard Simulator, which sounds as morbid as James's game, but isn't as bad. So you basically have to go around shipwrecks, salvaging scrap metals and spare parts, and then sell them, and then you get more tools to salvage more spare parts and sell them, and around you go essentially. And you can order You can order wreckages to be dropped off on the beach. Don't know how that works from your very 90s style PC and your little wooden hut that's your base on this beach randomly. So it's a very strange game, but there is something fairly enjoyable for the first hour or two around the kind of gathering, collecting style side of it. But then it's just a kind of a very repetitive loop, and it doesn't look great either. I mean, I reviewed Ship Simulator before it, and it looks like a tad better than that, but it looks like it could have come out for PC in the late 90s, essentially. Wow. In the era of Half-Life and stuff. I imagine it started off as a PC game and it's been ported over to Xbox, as so many are. But yeah, it not as morbid as it sounds, but not particularly enjoyable either, I've got to say. Now,
I normally do these types of games, so the first thing I like to say is thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's fine.
He slipped me a $5, Darren, and said, "Can you have a word with Darren? I can't do any more."
Oh, there's another one. I've played Firefighter Simulator before. Actually, done quite a few.
But there's something about people loving just working, really, isn't it? It's like you said, it's that loop, isn't it? Of just like, I've got to get the job done.
I think it is. I think I opened one of the many simulator games I've reviewed, the article with I don't quite understand. Simulators shouldn't work when you describe them, put the idea down on paper, but yet they do, even though you're doing terribly mundane things in a virtual world. So
I mean, they're so popular as well, aren't they?
Absolutely,
as we see, people love it.
Massively popular. Yeah. But that was my my adventure, Ship Graveyard Simulator.
I did one in space, I think, that had the same thing of like a graveyard, like taking apart bits of ships like that, and sort of like salvaging them. Yeah. Good, Dan. Okay, Neil, what have you got?
Can I just say, it's just a shame that those simulators, they never look brilliant, do they? You've got maybe Farming Simulator, which looks pretty decent, doesn't it? At times.
The new ones, yeah.
And that absolutely flies, and sales are kind of off the chart. It's gone mad. But I do think that if a bit of time and effort went into the visual side of some of these weird simulators that come out, they could really go well. This
is it. It's. I think it's just laziness, because look at Microsoft Flight Simulator. You want to absorb yourself in the world. It needs to be realistic and eye for detail. So they're missing out.
Then actually, in bringing that up, I've been reviewing some kind of flight sim accessories recently, and so I've been playing Flight Sim. And it is boring as hell, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm with you on that.
People like it.
It looks beautiful, but it's so boring. I think Ship Graveyard Simulator might be more fun than Flight Sim, to be honest.
Well, give it a go and let me know what you think.
Neil, what have you got? What's your first one?
I've been playing Need for Speed Unbound, the latest Need for Speed. When I say I've been playing it, I've been trying to keep away from the races, and I've just been going around doing all collectibles, because that's really good fun. Right. It's kind of a bit like Burnout Paradise in that way.
Okay.
It reminds me very much of that. So you've got billboards to smash, you've got bears to collect. What else have you got? You've got graffiti art to collect as well. It's really good just to drive around the world, not worrying about the racing, and just kind of hunting these things down and trying to work out the best way of smashing a billboard or whatever and hitting a jump. It's really good in that aspect. What I'm not quite liking so much about it is the way the races have been put in. It's always been split down into a weekly calendar. And so you do a race, you build your heat. You think, oh, that's too much heat. You go back to your garage, you get your heat dropped off so the cops don't chase you. And then you go again, kind of thing. It's just a bit.
I'm glad you explained about the cops. I couldn't work out what the heat was. I thought, was it coming from you? Yeah. What is this heat? Is it your trousers?
So as you race, you build the heat. The cops get interested in you. Right. You go from like the 1 star where they'll look at you. If you hang around, they'll nick you. Yeah. Or the 5 stars, and they send everything out at you, helicopters and the like. But that bit's not quite as good. I'm not enjoying that as much.
Right.
Going around hitting the collectibles is brilliant, though.
Oh, good. Is it out on Game Pass? It's not on Game Pass, is it? It's on EA. It will be out soon.
No, it's on EA, so I'm guessing you get 10 hours free or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
But it looks really good. I like the way it looks.
Okay.
And yeah, it's nice.
What did Paul give it? Paul reviewed it, didn't
Yeah, I think he gave it a 4 out of 5.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, 4 out of 5. It's a bit. We all know Paul. Anybody listening to the podcast knows Paul. It's a bit youth for Paul.
Right. Right.
He's now shouting at me.
Yeah.
But yes,
Oh, yeah,
there's
about this next week.
some of the visuals, like, so you'll hit a jump and your car will go off the jump, and these kind of like graffiti wings will come spurting out the side of your car,
Yeah.
which looks really cool to start with, but then it gets a bit kind of old hat. And then you've got neon lights everywhere, etc., etc. But yeah, for some guys mid-40s, it's a bit youth.
I think mid-40s is a stretch. That's what I'm saying.
For some early 50s.
Oh, you're in trouble.
Good. I'm going to just really talk about something called Sky, Children of the Light game. And it's by the people who made Journey and Flower, called That Game Company. And it came on the PlayStation for free. And I thought, I love those games. And I thought, I wonder what this is. I don't know what this is. And I logged into it. And it first came onto Android and iPhones. And it's I still don't know what it's about. It's a multiplayer game. But what happened over Christmas is they did this event, and it's like you go in, and every day there's a concert by someone called Aurora, who's a Norwegian or Swedish artist, I don't know. And you're all in this stadium watching the concert, and you see it up to 4,000 people who are in this stadium. And then when she would sing a song, you're then part of almost like the music video. You're all, for at one point you become like jellyfish, and you're all 4,000 jellyfish flying through this environment, a bit like Journey, if you played that before. And there's about 6 or 7 songs, and it was just a kind of really nice, the songs are good, really kind of interesting experience, just being in a kind of concert. And at the end it says 3,864 people saw this concert today. But over the course of it, I think it was on for a month, 1.6 million people saw it. Which is quite impressive, isn't it?
All right.
Yeah.
So has it stopped now then?
Yeah.
So
Well, that event has stopped, but there's other stuff you can do in the game. I don't know what other stuff that is, but I think that's the idea, that they bring stuff into the game like that every now and again, like an event like Fortnite does with concerts. But this is kind of more interactive. So there's something about that I kind of just really liked, and my partner who doesn't play games, she started having a look and she loved it. She was like, "Oh my god, I didn't know this could happen in games." And I said, "Well, it doesn't. It doesn't often." But it was kind of just a different experience. And I thought, "Oh yeah, there's something I really like about this." And of course, you can emote as a character, but you can't chat. There's no chat room, thank God, because it's going to be hell on earth. Because everyone will be. But it's just quite nice that the characters are they just can emote, and that's it really. And it's something really interesting about that. It's a gaming experience or a different experience online. Yeah, good. It's free though. If you've got the PlayStation, give it a go and find out what else it does.
Should I turn my PlayStation on?
I think you should.
Just PlayStation off now.
Get it going. Help Paul, because he can't load up God of War for some reason. I don't know why. It's PlayStation 4.
This is the IT man as well.
Yeah, I know. So I'm in trouble for that. And no one's written in asking about it. Good. Your last game, James. What's your last one?
Well, I fear this one might go over all your heads, but it's One Piece Odyssey. Are you all interested?
I'm familiar, but I'm not a massive fan. No. I did play a One Piece game at Bandai Namco a couple of years ago, I think. That was it Pirate Warriors? That's one?
Oh, the one that's Dynasty Warriors.
Yes. So I'm familiar with the franchise, yeah.
Ah, good. Right, well, this is for you, Darren.
You two chat away. Me and Gareth will just go and have a little sleep.
So, it's a RPG, turn-based, and basically the Straw Hat Pirates, that's Luffy and the gang, they all get washed up ashore, the boat crashes, and for some reason, they lose all their powers. So you basically have to earn your powers back by collecting cubes on a mystery island, and you also have to go back through the memories of the stories told before. It's a nice mixture of a new fresh storyline and a little bit of the old nostalgic classic story arcs. The combat is turn-based, and that's quite different as well, because you've got the enemies in different areas of the battlefield, and so are your characters. So you have to kind of like help out other characters in different areas or stick to where you are. You got all the special moves. I mean, they've all got extra special powers. So yeah, any questions?
No.
Is it
No
any
I'm
good?
trying to really simplify it.
Is
It's
it
really hard.
is it good? It's got some nice reviews, I
It's
think.
really good fun.
Yeah.
It's not too difficult, and the fact that it mixes all the new stories means that it caters for people that have never played it before. And the visuals are great. It's so bright, and it's really light-hearted in the cutscenes and that. It's good fun. I'm really enjoying it so far.
Good. Okay.
Good. Because there's... Sorry, James, I was going to ask, there's an awful lot for them to draw on, because there's a lot, isn't there, in the
Yes.
anime? There's a lot of it. It's huge. I don't know. It must be up there with one of the longest running animes, if it isn't the longest.
I think there are over 1,000 out there episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Bloody hell.
How does it go, like, over from like start to finish, or is it just random references? Like, how much of the known stuff does it get in there?
Well, I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah.
But for the
Thank God.
going back in time kind of sections, it starts about season 2.
Okay.
Anyway,
Oh wow.
and there's a whole like section in there,
Yeah.
and then I move to a different area. I think there's 4 major arcs from the anime.
Right.
But I think it's supposed to cover 40 hours, just the main story. And you've got loads of side quests, like bounties, and just looking for treasure. It's really addictive, just wandering around the open worlds. It's very, very good.
Oh, good. That sounds good fun.
Good.
Do you need to know about One Piece, though?
Don't ask any more,
Is
don't
it,
ask
is
any
it
more
any
questions.
good for me and Gareth?
No, we're not going to play it. I can't even understand any what
You
he's
wouldn't
talking
play
about.
it anyway.
It's all a blur.
It's good for a newcomer
It's all a
if you
blur.
want to get involved.
They're on a ship. They're on an island. There's some treasure. I don't understand any of it.
Hey, there's more than that, Gareth.
Oh,
They eat
God.
devil fruits.
Oh,
You
good.
get special powers.
There you go. What more do you want from your video games?
Good.
One was a doctor that it's a reindeer, but he can talk.
Wow. Good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no.
Thank you, James. Good. Darren, have you got anything normal to talk about?
A little bit more normal. So I'm playing Fueled Up at the moment, which is one of those Overcooked style games that are so popular. So like a couch co-op. I don't know how you say it, like a management game almost. You've got to manage your environment, so you've got to stop like engines exploded and things. So it's set on a spaceship, and it's various levels that you play, and you're being chased through space on each level by an evil space octopus and his army of space squids. And you've got to essentially, pretty similar to James's, I guess.
This is not normal.
It's as normal as it's gonna get. And it's like a Mario World style world map, but it's in space. So you go from like one level to the other, and it starts off pretty straightforward. You just have to make fuel and then chuck it into the engine to keep going, because your main objective is to keep the ship moving. If you stop, they're going to catch up to you, and then it's game over. But also, if you stop, you lose points. And if you score well, you get 3 stars on each level. You can unlock new characters to play as. So I played as Little Cat in a spacesuit. There's aliens. One of them strangely looks like, when coronavirus was on the news and they have the little particles floating in the background. One of them looks like that. I'm not sure if that's on purpose or not. So it gets gradually harder, and then you get like asteroids will land on the ship and explode and set fire to your ship, and you've all got to scrabble around and put fires out and keep the ship moving. And airlocks will open if the battery runs out, so you suck everyone out, so you've got to put batteries in. So I was playing with Paul and Richard the other night, and they started very skeptical after Cannibal Cuisine and such games, but ended up enjoying themselves. So
Okay.
I've not finished reviewing it yet. I've written like a draft, and I want to play some more. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's good fun. It's clearly aimed at younger audiences as well, so it's not going to boil your blood like Overcooked does sometimes. I think it's a little more chilled out than that.
Good. Fueled up. Thank you, Darren. Neil, I'm going to go to you for your final game. What are you going to talk about?
One more game. I will go with Vampire Survivors. I don't think you've spoken about that on here yet.
I don't think we have. No.
It's a game that kind of just popped up out of nowhere, or at least for me, kind of back end of last year. And as soon as the rest of the team heard about it, it was like, play this, it's brilliant. Play this, it's brilliant. Paul played it, gave it a 5 out of 5, said it was brilliant. Okay, I'll give it a go as well. It's one of the most addictive games you will play, probably in the next 5 years. It's like a twin stick shooter, but with just the one stick, so a single stick shooter maybe. And you just move your guy around an area, killing things. There's auto fire. There's loads of different weapons that you pick up, and you kind of expand your kind of arsenal as you level up. And you get to half an hour in, a big boss comes along, kills you, you start again. That is the game, but it's really, really addictive.
Yeah.
Would you like to know anything else?
No, I've played it. James has played it. I think you summed it up.
I still need to play it.
You've got to play it.
You do, Darren.
It sounds brilliant.
I've uninstalled it to stop me playing it because I was getting too addicted to it.
I have considered doing that.
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah.
It's mad. I don't understand why it's so addictive, but it just is.
Yeah, it's really
You end up going in for one quick death, and then you're like 30 minutes in, like Neil said, and you think, oh, I've got all this gold. Let's see if it improves my chances for the next one.
Yeah.
And you have another go. And I think one of the most impressive things, though, is that in this era of accessibility, playing such a game with one stick and make it so addictive and so accessible. I think they did a fantastic job.
Well, it's basically one stick and one button, isn't it? So you press the one button to decide which skill you want to level up next, or which weapon you want to level up, and that really is it. Yeah. You don't even have to walk around if you don't want to. You can just stay in one place.
Yeah.
Which means you get loads of power-ups.
Yeah, you just do small loops in the end. So, it's great.
Yeah. It's mad.
Yeah, so it's good. It's very good. Deserves all its awards and credit for that.
I've noticed there's like a clone going around on mobile as well. So I'm guessing it's a clone of Vampire Survivors, and Vampire Survivors isn't a clone of this mobile game.
It's funny you should say that, because it sounds like it will be at home on mobile and tablet from how simply you've described it.
Yeah.
Is it just on console?
It's on PC.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, and it's got... I just want to have a quick look, actually. I'm sure it's got mad reviews on Steam.
Yeah, I think it's so.
I've heard all the praise, yeah.
Right, on Steam, it's been out for 4 months. It's got 171,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews.
Wow.
That is nuts. Oh, the other thing, it's $3.99.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bargain.
Yeah.
What more can you?
And it's free on Game Pass.
What more do you want, really? And it is as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, right. I'll download that then.
Yeah. But it's brilliant.
It's very good. It's really good. I'm just going to really briefly, because we haven't much time, but I'm going to just say the Callisto Protocol I really loved last week when I was talking about it. That love's gone. There you go.
Oh.
I really love the design. I really love the look of it. I love the whole thing. I like the story, but it's just very hard. As in, you're just when you haven't got much ammo, you haven't got much health, and you're going to be facing about 20 different creatures there. No, it's like, I can't bother anymore. Yeah, the actual fight mechanic is wearing. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say. But it's a shame, because it's a great world. I can see where people have not reviewed very well on that.
I'm still quite tempted by it. I know that
it's a
it's
great
not
world.
amazing, but I would like to play it.
I think it'll be on Game Pass in 6 months. Wait.
Do you think people will lose interest when Dead Space comes out there?
Well, it's already gone down to 30 quid.
I think people have lost interest already. Have they?
I think
Have
it's gone down to about 30 quid now. So it's gone.
okay.
Yeah, so I don't think it's done very well.
That's a shame.
Let's move on. Let's do your games because let's go to some news. I'm going to put it over to Neil because Neil's done something special. Neil, what have you done?
Oh, well, EA invited me to a presentation the other day for their next golf game. So EA Sports PGA Tour. It looks very good. It looks like really good, and I like a golf game. The last EA golf game I think was Rory McIlroy, 2014 maybe, something like that, 2016. So it's been a while since they've been away from it, and it's kind of been left to 2K and HB Studios to do the golf club and PGA Tour 2K23 most recently. But yeah, this year and in March, in actual fact, it's coming out. With the EA team behind it, you would think it's going to be rather good. Even though people slag off FIFA for being the same old, they've had, 7 or 8 years since a golf game. It's going to be different, isn't it?
Mm.
For that reason alone, it's quite exciting. The presentation was good. Lasted about an hour and 10 minutes or so. They showed us a load of the gameplay of them actually playing it. Visuals are brilliant. It's all been put together through Frostbite engine, so normally when you've got that, it looks half decent. Tons of courses. I think there's like 30 courses at launch.
It's got all the tours, isn't it? Yeah.
It's got all 4 majors. They're calling it the home of the 4 majors. So you can play those. You've got a career mode. You've got multiplayer. You've got simultaneous online multiplayer that looks really cool. So where everybody just strikes at the same time.
Mm.
You see that the ball arcs all go. And then when you're taking your shot, you see somebody kind of appear off to your right-hand side as they're taking their shot as well. And then somebody off a bit further up the fairway on the left. Looks really clever. I don't know what it'd be like when you've got a full 16 people. And maybe if everybody's kind of landed their ball within a 5-yard radius, what's going to happen? That could get a bit messy. But the idea of not having to wait around for people to take shots and whatever is a good one.
Yeah.
Of course, if you want to do kind of matchmaking and private games and stuff, you can do that. But yeah, looks very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, it'd be good. I used to love playing a golf game. I haven't played one for years and years. Yeah.
Yeah, the best thing about the golf games is, even though they're realistic, the best ones put extra boosts in and a bit of spin and stuff like that. They didn't mention it, but I don't think there's any spin, but there is boost. So whether they're considering putting more fun game types, well, I know they are considering putting fun game types in further down the line, and whether they let you kind of then start spinning the ball after shot and stuff like that, because that's what used to make it fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Casuals in.
Yeah.
The problem with the golf club and whatever, it was a bit sterile. It was you hit the ball, you hit the ball, you hit the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, EA behind a sports game should be good, shouldn't it?
And you've got an article on the site which you've just come
There's
up.
an article up on the site, just gone out today. Got all the details on there, really. March 26th release, I think it is. 24th, sorry.
It's a busy time now, isn't it? They're all bloody going out. I'll tell you that. God. Amazing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Next gen only as well.
Next gen only? Good.
I've got a question
Yeah, James.
to Neil. Have they got the rights to the LIV golf?
They didn't mention it, so I don't think so.
It could be DLC. You never know.
The problem is that's completely separate from the PGA, isn't it? This
Maybe they
thing,
do their own game then.
you would think so, wouldn't you? At some point, the way Liv is going, you would think so. But I can't see them, especially with kind of what has gone on between PGA and Liv over the last 6-8 months. I can't see them ever letting each other get too near, if you know what I mean. the women's golf's in there. The LPGA, that's in
Oh,
there.
good.
So you got that. But
It's nice because EA Sports sometimes lack in that area.
you got some decent pros as well. They showed Scott Scheffler, and who was the other guy they were showing off?
Tiger Woods in it.
Somebody else as well.
Nick Faldo?
No Tiger. Nick Faldo is on comms.
Ah, yeah.
So yeah, no Tiger, because he's the face of 2K, isn't he?
Yeah.
He was the cover star of 2K23 PGA. So, but no, it looks really cool.
What about Gareth Bale?
Gareth Bale will be there, yes, as some kind of DLC.
DLC,
yes.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good, Neil.
With his Welsh flag.
We'll look forward to that on the 24th. Let's talk about, last week it was very exciting. We had live news coming from the podcast as we spoke, which is the Skull and Bones being delayed again for the 10th time. And strangely enough, we're going to just briefly chat about Skull and Bones and Ubisoft. They said we're doing a presentation though tomorrow. We're going to show half an hour video of some gameplay, and they did, and we all had a little look at it. As Darren beautifully put,
little look,
yeah, beautifully put.
I watched it.
It didn't need to be that long.
It did not need to be that long.
I mean, the weirdest thing about it is like I obviously played a lot of Assassins, and it was Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It was the people who made the sailing stuff and that, and they went off and did this, I think. And it has the same. It does look like Assassin's Creed. It really does. And you're looking at it going, and they really showed off the narrative front because obviously they're panicking now. Like no one's going to buy this because it's multiplayer only. So they went, no, there's story. That's what it felt like this video, which was basically a kind of like treasure hunt, wasn't it? But you saw the character walking along in one of the islands and sort of following clues, and then they're on the ships. We saw some ships fighting. I mean, I don't want to be too hard on this because it's James's game of the decade. It's
which decade?
I don't know.
2040s when it comes out.
But it does feel like this. I don't know how this is going to do. It doesn't look like. I mean, it does look like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. That's my problem with it. Which would have been great if they would have released it a year after Black Flag, which was 2014. But it does feel like we've moved on a bit. Maybe that's just me. Neil, what do you think from watching bits of it?
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it. I thought I was watching Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, I'd just go and play Assassin's Creed. Because I never got the Black Flag stuff anyway. Out of all the AC games, Black Flag was probably my least favourite. I never liked the ship stuff. I just found it boring. And so it's not going to appeal to me anyway. But yeah, just the wandering around it is just Assassin's Creed. I don't know which part of Ubisoft is on it. Is it the same bit that did Odyssey and Origins and
I think
and
it's
all
a
that
Black Flag. What originally it was. I think. That's
I don't know. I don't know which section of Ubi did that either. But no, I just no, not for me. Thank you very much.
No. Darren.
Yeah, I don't want to pile in too hard on it, but I agree with what you guys have said around it does look very Assassin's Creed. And I think we've known about it for so long, and I appreciate they showed off more probably in that half an hour than I've known about it since its reveal, because I've struggled to figure out what type of game it is from all the bits they've dropped so far. So it makes it a bit more clearer to me. But at the same time, it was a bit dry, the presentation. There were long reams of text that were being narrated with in-game characters, and there was no sort of commentary over it. It just felt a bit bland. If that's not too harsh. There's nothing that's making me go in, I need to get that game, especially if it's going to be $80 or dollars or whatever it is when it gets released. I mean, Fan Pass 5 is $3.99, we've just heard, so it's going to be a hard sell for them. But now they're kind of so far down the line, we're nearly there, we think. I don't know. I'm not sold.
James, give us hope.
I've kind of painted myself into a corner here. because I want to love it. I put all my eggs in the Skull and Bones basket, but it's going to be terrible. And watching that 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes and I never get back. And I'd rather play the accident than watch that. Even the guys presenting it couldn't fake excitement
No.
for what was going on.
Yeah.
This is it.
No.
And if that's all they've got to offer in storytelling, even,
Yeah.
it's just, oh my god, it's so bland.
So bland.
And these are the guys that had a big role in Origins, Unity, and Valhalla, and all them.
They were
These guys
in
know.
that, were they?
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
Well,
it did, but it looks really bad.
the biggest thing
it
is
doubles down it now.
that Ubisoft are in a lot of trouble at the moment. It feels like they've already had a kind of week again of like the CEO said something, the staff are talking about striking. It feels like they've just lost their traction a bit, and it's interesting that they've taken from these unannounced games that they got cancelled. There was a thing today saying that a lot of them have gone to work on Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is coming out in beginning of March, which I didn't realise. I thought it was later in the year. It's got a date.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, it's coming out. Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's got a March date.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
I looked at it today.
What, this year?
Yeah, this year. It's coming out, and so everyone's going, what are they doing in like 6 weeks? Let me put it in now while we talk. And I think the problem is
put it into everyone's subconscious. I was right. I was right.
Release date. I think the big problem is that what they've done is they've just diversified so much. Yeah, March the 9th is coming out. That
ain't happening.
No, I don't think that's happening. That's mad, isn't it? And I think they've diversified so much. And they've done so much things, like they've got their TV series, they've done this, they've done that. You know, they've gone into this kind of corporate kind of meltdown of like, we've got to do all these different things, rather than go, just make a game and put it out. And you make a lot of money still. You don't have to do all these different things and TV series and all these kind of like live play stuff. You know, it just drives me mad. And I think the same with Microsoft at the moment. I'm really annoyed because Microsoft have just laid off 10,000 people. And it's the same with them. Just make games and put them out. You make a lot of money.
But the problem is, the problem is that people demand more, and so they kind of think, oh, we'll just do this, and then that sells, and they think, oh, we can do a bit more of that.
No, but I don't think it's about people. I think it's about a corporation. And I think it's about when you're working in a corporation, when they become so big, it's their shareholders who will go to them, well, why can't we do the next fortnight? They're making all that money. Why can't? So they've been trying for ages, like Ubisoft is on, to try to make. Everyone's been trying to make the next Fortnite, or trying.
Champions.
Yeah, and it always
died, hasn't it?
it goes wrong, and they have so many these attempts. There's been so many games that have just died on Ubisoft. You know, just come out, died, and you think, oh god, you could have all these people making something great. That would have made you a lot of money.
I've got a solution.
What's that?
They need to announce Splinter Cell 7 finally, and rather than remaking the first one, because I don't know when that's going to come out, but that's in the pipeline, isn't it? And then they need to get Beyond Good and Evil 2 out. Make a game that the first game was brilliant, I thought, and it was original and it was different when it came out in the noughties. Focus on something like that. You got more chance of that getting a cult following, making some good money for them, than trying to spit out clones of Assassin's Creed or whatever it is. Because I mean, with Microsoft as well, at the speed they were acquiring companies, I think it's sadly inevitable that they've had to go, oh, hang on here. Can we actually run this a little bit more efficiently? We're going to have to start cutting jobs and stuff, which is a sad thing, especially with the whole Activision thing in the wind at the moment.
And also, I think the guy from the Halo people, he's left, isn't he? One of the
he's just gone.
He's just gone.
Which I'm a bit nervous about, but
I think it does feel a bit sort of like too big. It's like, and also with Microsoft, they're just going to be in these court cases for years now, aren't they? Just like, get out of that. Sorry, that's my little rant about Ubisoft and people going into these kind of massive deals. And another thing, I'm going to say one more thing, right? And three might have an opinion. Suicide Squad got a little video on the PlayStation when PlayStation announced their things of the year. And they've got on... Someone looked at one of the screens and said, there's a battle pass in there. And there's hints of it being a live service game. What do we think about that? Would that... James, you're really excited for Suicide Squad, aren't you?
I was. Ahead with the battle pass.
Does it make much difference, though, really, James?
I think it just means it's going to be more about unlocking cosmetics, and that's what you're working towards all the time.
You think?
I think so. I think it adds a terrible element to the concept. It doesn't need it if it's a good game. It doesn't need any of that. No, microtransactions. Nothing. Just do a decent 4-player card game and then upgrade the characters, and that's it.
I agree.
So,
I think it distracts.
No.
Sorry, Gareth.
No,
I think it distracts from single player elements or local co-op or even online co-op. But I go back to Halo so often with Halo Infinite. The multiplayer is good and really good actually, and I've played a lot of it. But the battle pass system, I've just sick to the back teeth of it. And is it distracting from the single player campaign? For me, I might be showing my age, that's what I play games for still. I enjoy multiplayer, but there's nothing better than getting absorbed into a fairly short 8 to 10 hour big blockbustery single player campaign. That's what I love from games. And I feel like, as Neil said earlier, people demand it. So it's a supply and demand market still. It's being dragged over to battle passes and battle royales and all of that, and I think it just takes so much time and effort to keep it fresh, keep it updated, that it's distracting from the single player experience as well, because it feels like all games need to have it now, or in some capacity, when actually I would like to think there are enough gamers out there that wouldn't be that bothered about not having it, and the game would still do well without it.
But is there a case, it'd be very interesting to hear, like, because something like the Suicide Squad game might cost, I don't know, £150 million to make before they start doing advertising. Is there a case that they need these other elements in there now to have a stream of income as well as the stream of income to get that back? But, because I think we've had, like we talked about, it's interesting, like GTA 5, which at the time I think was the biggest expensive game that cost in the region of 200 million to make at that time. But obviously they found a system where they can also make that money back just by selling GTA, but then they had the online world, didn't they? Which they've made billions and billions of pounds of. So is there people who are starting to think in that way of going, okay, we need something else as well to kind of claw that investment back? I don't know. But also it's just the idea of, is it going to be another Avengers game?
Oh God.
That's my worry. But we don't know. We don't know.
Have you seen the pack that came out today for Avengers?
No.
What was it?
An MCU outfits pack. 10 outfits for the Avengers. How much did you pay for that?
How much?
79p.
60 quid.
Wow.
Yeah. There we go.
That's lots of money.
Yeah.
People surely aren't
I think you probably get submission or something, maybe. But it doesn't say it on the store, but 60 quid for 10 costumes.
And that's what, and also they know in a sense, because we know with friends who've got like 10-year-old kids or, or older, when they get there for Christmas now, they're saying, I want cash. And a lot of my friends are sort of going, why are they buying their cash? They're saying they're buying their Fortnite skins or they're buying their skins in games. And it drives the parents mad because they're going, why have they spent this? But then, me and Neil spent it on football cards or bubble gum.
Pokemon cards when I was younger. Yeah, that's where all my money went. Pokemon cards and guns and rounds.
Mm-hmm. And James is up where he lives, heroin. No, I'm joking.
No, it wasn't that.
All right. So that's our
We painted quite a bleak picture
we
of
have,
the gaming industry
but
this year, haven't we?
There's lots of games coming out, hopefully, soon.
Oh, we hope.
We hope. What are we looking forward to next week, you you three. Let's start with James. James, what have you got?
Episode 2 and The Last of Us.
Brilliant.
And that's about it.
Oh, okay. No games? Dead Space?
I don't really enjoy games.
I'm going to buy James Dead Space.
Good. Exactly.
Time down and make him stream it. Matchsticks in the eyes.
Exactly.
Till he completes it.
I never sleep again.
Darryl, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to seeing Dead Space in action. I'm also in London on Monday with work, which I always like a jaunt to London. And it's safe to say London now. Paul isn't on the podcast this week, so he won't get loads of abuse. So should be a fairly easy week next week.
Nice. What about you, Neil? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm tempted by Dead Space. Whether I buy it straight away or not, I don't know, but I'm tempted by it. There's a couple of little indie games as well. One called Clunky Hero, which looks fun. It's just like a weird platformer that you.
I did look good. Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah, you got a bucket on your head. Yeah. It just looks a bit weird. Other than that, I've got all the football really. I've got 3 home games from Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday.
Ooh.
Saints are at home, 3 games in a row, so that'd be fun.
Nice.
Freezing cold.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun.
Good.
And the fights have stopped as well at St Mary's now. Now we've been winning a couple of games, the fighting stopped.
Oh, good.
Lovely.
So it's all nice.
It's always nice to know.
Glad.
My word.
Football fans, eh?
Football fans. Cool. I'm looking forward to playing the game that no one else wants to play in the world. Forspoken's coming out on the PlayStation on Tuesday, I think. So
why does nobody want to play it?
I don't know. It's like I think it's interesting. I think James, you had that. Your first impression was it doesn't look very good, and I think that's generally kept all the way through previews. I think they've had a demo that came out. I think it really split people. Some people really loved it. Some people just didn't like it. So really? I think some. But I'm a big sucker for an open world game, and just be nice to have a kind of biggish game for a couple of weeks. I trade it in.
Play all those simulators, Gareth. So you're all right.
I know, we're right now. Yeah, exactly. Take a breather. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to see it. It might be terrible. I don't think it will be terrible. Yeah, but I think it'll be fun. Yeah, I like the idea of the magic stuff. That's quite good. Right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Now, if we need to get a hold of you to speak to you or to help Paul with his God of War, even though Paul's not here. Get hold of one of us.
Somebody help him, please.
Help him.
Dear.
James, where can we get hold of you?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at OKidUKO.
And Darren, what are you?
I'm on Twitter and my handle is at 27Darren.
Great. Neil, what about you? Where are you?
Now, I'm on Twitter.
Oh.
But I use a third-party Twitter app. And Elon switched it off, so I'm no longer on Twitter because, one, I don't know my login. It's just been logged in for like 6 years, and I can't be bothered to find it to use it anywhere else. So I can't use Twitter until Elon decides to turn it back on. So I'm on Instagram, Neil363.
Great.
I hardly use that either.
Don't get hold of Neil. Just get one of the Xbox Hub. And you can find me on GB Briley. Well, now next week is next Thursday. It's our 150th episode, but we're doing a special, which is party, and it's covering the Xbox event next week.
Oh, yeah, might be a bit of a rubbish party.
When
somebody bring the streamers and the hats.
Imagine if it's just like someone just comes on the screen and goes, "It's all cancelled. It's all stopped. We've run out of money. Thank you. Good night."
Here's some skull and bones.
Yeah, that's ready. We're just putting it out there. Yeah, it's the only thing we've got. God. Right, gentlemen. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.